beyond, and welcome to the Kitchen of Creativity for another very special episode of Hook Cooks, the improvised storytelling podcast guaranteed to fill a hunger you didn't know you had. Ugh. Sorry, guys, I blacked out for a second there.
Oh, Jack. Hi.
I mean, I'm Dishbot, but tonight I will play the role of Jack.
I'm so sorry. You're so convincing.
Yeah.
Oh wow, geez, that was kind of shocking to have to witness that. Hey everyone, hi listeners. I'm Vinny. I'm the saucy spicerer, and as you both know, I've been brought before you by some spice-crazed maniacs, desperately trying to get at the precious nutmeg within. Where? I'll never tell.
Within, I think
it's called nutmeg.
Within. It's within.
So I feel.
So Mr. Chef couldn't be here with us today, so I'll be filling in his place.
Thank you for doing that, Vinny. Yes, the Monster Chef Mish is not with us this week, but he will be coming on back next week. For now, it is just the Dishbot playing the role of Jack, Vinny, and of course myself, your larder critter, Connor. Time to roll up our sleeves for another shift here in the Cook Kitchen. My fellow chefs will be presenting submissions based on a pre-prepared prompt from, well, normally our producer Vinny, but this time our co-host Mitch. Together, me, Vinny, and Jack will whip up a world, characters, and a story just for you before serving up a radio play segment that we call the Plate Up. Got a prompt of your own? Send it through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com or reach out to us across the socials at hook_cooks. Chefs, BFFs. Let's get cooking. Jack, what is Mitch's special prompt?
Tonight, we are working with Sage Rage.
Sage Rage!
Sage Rage.
Sage Rage. Ooh. I so many things, of course. Immediately, I am thinking of the herb, of the wise elder, rage, a furious word filled with power and anger.
Nice.
Before
the definition of the prompt right on the front there.
Yeah, it's good to talk down to the audience. Well, right here at the top, we always go for the first thoughts, the worst thoughts. Vinny, as our guest, would you like to open up yourself for a little bit of best before yesterday's? What have you got?
Deep in the dusty corridors where floorboards creak, ancient tomes stuffed with knowledge they seek. These wizened fools their heads they fill, until time comes when blood be spilled. The human brain can only be so wise before red fills their milky eyes. These hands whose knuckles norm touch only paper, now white with fury delivering blow and haymaker.
Okay.
It's beautiful, man.
That was...
Did you like my
touching.
poem about old men beating each other up in
getting
a
so
library?
smart they get angry? Yeah, I liked it a lot.
This chess master nerd learns one more move and then just goes crazy. Yeah, this is your best before yesterday. The one
This was nearly my main submission.
Okay, good. It has a bit of a main flavor to it. It was very decent.
Gary Kasparov plays one last game against Deep Blue and then just fucking kicks it out a window.
he's just right, like ripping the wires out on the ride down, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, a powerful best before yesterday. Jack, with that rhyming best before yesterday behind us, what do you have?
Here we go. Sage Rage. Simon and Garfunkel's quickly forgotten heavy metal follow-up to Scarborough Fair, described by critics as haunting in the wrong way, and a slap in the face to lovers of parsley, rosemary, and thyme. Fred Durst has named Sage Rage as one of his main inspirations.
Excellently manifested. Not only is it
that's incredible
best name that you could have picked for this album, outside of the fact that it is the prompt, it is the perfect name for that exact situation.
Yeah.
The idea of Simon and Garfunkel like ripping some heavy metal, fantastic. beautiful, a wonderful submission, herbal, a kind of a botanical submission. I think we can all get around there.
Mhm.
I am loath to drag us forward to the meat and potatoes with such quality. Best before yesterday's behind us. Did you leave the steamers here, or does it glimmer yet brighter? Well,
Let's see.
Vinny, please elucidate me. Present to me your meat and potatoes.
All right, here we go. When they arrived, we were initially fearful, but they gave us a gift that solved world hunger. A vibrant leafy herb that filled the belly and warmed the soul. It was prolific, easy to farm in any environment, and distributed globally before any corporations could control it. Then they left. For a while, humanity was baffled, but contented by the gift that they'd received. It was delicious after all. But after eating it for a while, people became enraptured, frenzied by it. They loved it, and they weren't satisfied until you loved it. Anyone who gorged themselves on it was a fanatic, but placid, so long as everyone around them was partaking. You, however, never subscribed. You opted out. It was rotting people's brains, and you seemed to be the only one who could see it. Of this you were absolutely sure. This one thing, and those microwave satellites that were stealing your ideas for apps. You watched from your apartment as humanity rejoiced. You pretended to munch down the outsider's herb at your corporate retreats, but you were the one who was right all along. Slowly, you saw things change. First, it was weirdly described as being party time all the time. That was when they began digging. First cobalt, then iridium, then platinum. They paraded it through the streets whenever they struck a vein. Finally, they started the ring. The colossal planetary ring. Somehow, people still maintained their semblance of humanity, still living in their high-rise apartments, sipping their lattes while on the train to work on the ring. Still with their occupational health and safety and corporations, yet now all seemingly united to a single cause. Nobody could articulate why they wanted to build the ring, but also, nobody cared.
Sage rage.
Okay.
Rage.
So,
They're
okay.
building a ring around. They're putting a ring on it
So because of the herb,
Yes.
because of the herb.
they like the planet. Okay. Okay. So I'm unpacking this. We have a ring around the world, built by a population of the planet that has been influenced by this herb that they're munching.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I think it's party all the time.
I like that they think it's party time all the time. And I also like that they put a ring on it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in exploring the idea of the ring and this addictive herb. But before we do answer those questions and riddle ourselves too deeply into that plot, Jack, please present your meat and potatoes.
Okay, here we go. Sage rage. Gumbo hawks a loogie and spits, leaving a dark tobacco-stained wad of phlegm on the ground next to the motorbike's sidecar. Time to roll, Bubba. Spot me some Rangers over at yon dollar mart. Bubba jerks awake, sleepily tightening the straps on his colorproof goggles, and revs the engine, pulling the bike out onto the road just as Gumbo hops into the sidecar. They tear past the shambling, twitching flock of Ragers, poor, innocent people, driven mad by the silvery green light that hovers overhead. Pops always said the light was a weapon, a big bomb that went wrong and turned the whole world into Ragers. At least, it did, if you aren't wearing your colorproofs. Once they're a safe distance from the flock, Bubba pulls over to the side of the road and turns excitedly to his brother. Well, did you get it? Was it there? Gumbo smiles and pats the pocket of his denim jacket before pulling out a faded, tattered pamphlet. You bet your ass, you big old lump of lard. I mocked it up when I was inside. He smooths the pamphlet over the seat of the sidecar. It's a map, fairly simplistic in its design, and circled and highlighted right down the bottom of the page, the words, Fort Worth, Texas, home of NASA. It's official. We're getting off this shithole of a planet, bubs. Let's ride.
That was incredible.
Great.
I loved that.
Very
was so
economic
good.
use of world building. You did a really good job of building your world with few words, which was excellent.
Yeah,
I think
we
you
do
did
have
a really
word
good
limit,
job.
So
Yeah, no. It's
trying to run at that.
no. I think specifically the color proofs was a great little nod. I really liked that. I'm being put into this world. Rages is so nebulous that it's like,
You know what
maybe
it
they're
is.
zombie people, they're shufflers,
it's that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
they're kind of whatever. We can flesh it out. Like it's a good spot to like build on. I
Yeah.
like that you've done a me and Bubba are going. We're getting off this shithole.
We're going to NASA.
We're going to NASA and we're getting off of this shithole.
Yeah.
Where would you go if you want to get off this shithole? Probably I'd try, knock on NASA's door. I like it a lot. I'm going to start thinking of the blend here. I mean, the ring itself could have just created this effect on every part of the planet that's not the ring. Right?
I was considering actually going down a sort of like zombie / mindless rager path with where I was headed with mine, where like humanity is like doing something together. Like everyone has the same ideas. So like the thought of it being sort of like a zombie horde, or in your case, a pack of ragers.
But what about this, right? I'm going to tweak your original idea of the chewing of the herb being done by everybody and that you're a conspiracy theorist. Instead, I think it would be interesting if the herb was something that was like extremely hard to get and expensive. And as a result, it's the richest people and the wealthiest people in the world that start to follow this brain conditioning. So it's like 20 or 30 years of this being essentially like Cuban cigars, right? Where only the wealthiest people have it and it becomes a culture thing. And these people are the only people that can have it because it's this alien plant that was given to us for a really special reason.
So if you want to actually did get to it.
Yeah, these are the party all the time people.
Yeah, and these people have the resources to build this thing, right? And when they've built this thing, it turns out to do what Jack has described, create this light around the whole rest of the world that turns everyone else into mindless fuckos, right?
Yeah.
So obviously this would be like maybe like, I don't know if we're still going to NASA. I don't know if we're going to the ring. It's probably a ring mission. But maybe there's a way to go to like an army base. Like you and Bubba are like, we're going to blow the fucking ring up. Like, and like, obviously they've got the simplest solution and they're like, well, if we break it, ain't a ring no more. Right?
Yeah.
And these guys would be like, how do you envisage, because it's essentially me, you've got like your ultra wealthy ring and everything else is like the way that Jack described. It's glittering, what I imagine to be a sage light in the sky.
That was the concept.
Silvery green.
You know, I got to talk down to the listener. When you're living in that environment, what's it like with the color proofs? Is it like you have to put them on before you even walk up the stairs out of the basement? Like any
I was sort of imagining that they like live in them.
The chafing.
But maybe it could be, maybe it is more interesting if there are like safe zones. Like another sort of earlier version of this I had was like they're trying to get out of light.
Yeah. Okay.
So like when it's dark, it's okay, I suppose. So like being in a house, they just don't want to be outside.
Well, I mean,
like
I think
sunlight, right?
It's
like,
light, but they can have the shades to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like I love that it's like if you go upstairs and one of the Venetians is broken and it gets in your eyes, you're fucking done. Right? It's like zombie rules. If you get bit, you get bit. Like that's it. Doesn't matter if it's a little tiny bite or you lose a hand, you're going to turn into a zombie, right?
Yeah.
So with that like pressure, the safe, quote unquote, safe places become a lot more constructed. And a
Yeah,
lot more
especially when you introduce like hordes of very
exactly
angry people breaking windows. And
And if anyone gets a single pinky through your defenses, it'll be a beam of light. If you don't have your color proofs on, you're done.
Yeah, and I'd imagine like Bubba and whatever sleep down in a basement in like a black room, you know, like a photography dark room or something like.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That way they could like instantly know and like shut their eyes if they think that they're like even if the yellow light from the hall outside penetrated the red, they'd know.
Yeah,
like that's cool, and it like very aesthetic that these two good time boys are fucking hanging out in like a freight container that's inside a bigger freight container that's you know, like you're just trying to stop even a fucking little tiny bit of light getting through. If you look at it directly, boom, you're dead. Okay, well I like that. This ring is emanating this light in some fashion or creating it. It is ubiquitous, night, day, doesn't matter. If you get hit with this light in your eyes, you're done-ski, right?
Yeah.
Like, if your color proofs were knocked off, you would like have to like send your face into the mud to try and like stop yourself even getting bleed through.
Yeah.
Like desperately trying to avoid seeing the sage light.
Yep.
Right? Cool. Very cool. We will go through some obstacles. We'll define those later on our way to the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the ending, right?
Yeah.
Like part of what I liked about these characters is that they're not like these aren't like heroes.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like them being the people who like blow up the ring or whatever is maybe not the thing.
Yeah, you want them to just escape.
I still like the idea of them just trying, like, they just really want to get off the planet. And it makes total sense that these two, as you've described them to us, would just like, we're just going to NASA.
Where do you go to get off the planet? Like, it's the stupidest first idea, right? But if, like, I don't know, if we want to then like loop, like maybe it is that they're going to like an airbase where they know there's been like a rocket or something that's like taken off from there before, and then they find out that that's like part of the ring. Like it's sort of like they goof their way there. Like if you still want to tell that part of the story.
Yeah. So what you're saying is they have a selfish reason for doing what they're doing. You can't really call wanting to not be in the apocalypse that selfish, but yeah.
No, it's just like they're not trying to solve anything.
Yeah, they're not heroes. Exactly. You've put a pin on that. We'll do the not hero thing. I like that a lot. Them Mr. Magooing their way into saving the world is also like a good story.
And I think like it's funny. It would be funny if they don't even realize that they've done it.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like they like take off in this like alien spaceship that's like here checking that the ring is like all set up and good to go.
Yeah.
And like as they take off, it like sets off a chain reaction that like blows up the rest of the ring.
So they are like, we are going to the ring and we're going to the part of it that we've seen spaceships on, right? Yeah. To get a spaceship.
Yeah.
Whatever the alien culture is that set these people up, that got them the herb, that eventually like got everyone to build the ring around the planet in the first place. They occasionally have ships show up, and they seem to be showing up near Fort Worth, Texas, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And they're like, I've seen them. We're getting on one of those motherfuckers, and we're getting off this goddamn rock, right? Like, I like that a lot. It's also, you can do like which one do we take? The big one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and there's like a big ship there that's like there to like initiate the sequence or something. Like it's filled with like a really rare fuel that is going to start the ring.
What if it's there to pick up the rich people? Like the rich people aren't people anymore. Like this herb has like changed them, and that's how.
So they've become the aliens.
They've become
it's
the
like
aliens.
Slowly, this thing turns you into the like Borg hive mind.
Yeah.
Like and the ring is like a portal that is gonna just destroy the entire planet.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it was always supposed to do.
Exactly.
The green light it emits and the effect it has on humans is like coincidental.
It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It emits it as like a byproduct. You know,
It's just incredibly dangerous radiation.
what are you all complaining / dying about?
Why are you all turning psycho?
Yeah. Okay. I like that a lot. I think if you're talking about like how do we make it something that breaks the ring, I like the idea that they're collecting everyone. Like that's part of it. Like they're trying to get their slaves, I guess, off of this ring now.
Yeah.
Because they're about to activate it because it's done. I think there needs to be an element of it that's like, and we've brought the big alien thing that makes it work.
Yeah.
Right? The big glowing square or whatever. And we have to put it in and then it'll go boosh.
Yeah.
But you're like, just as it's being lowered, you're like, get her. Let's get her then. And you like get inside the ship and fly away. And it just like completely fucks everything.
Yep.
It's like the moment that you're adding the uranium, someone sneezes. And it's like, pff. Okay, cool. So we've got Bubba. What was the other character's name? Sorry?
Gumbo.
Bubba and Gumbo. Bubba and Gumbo are looking to just get the fuck off of this rock. Yeah. And they are traveling because they're in sight of the ring.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it was. They were lucky to get the color proofs on. Doesn't matter the circumstances exactly how they ended up like this, but now they're in this Mad Max kind of wasteland. Let's spend a little bit of time quickly defining the Ragers.
Sure. Before we do that, do we want to side salad?
That would be perfectly timed, my man.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well,
That'd be great.
Let's head on over to the side salad station, which is brimming, bulging, bursting, full of fresh organic prompts that my mom Claire has pulled straight out of Mama Nature's dirt meat. We're going to pick one at random by spinning this big wheel, and whatever we get, we will add to our meal.
Oh, man, that is a big wheel.
Whoa, it's too big.
Run! We're running like from the boulder from Indiana Jones.
Interesting. We're trapped.
We're trapped. Well, we sure are.
Yeah.
We're trapped.
We are trapped, but how do we get even more trapped?
How do we get more trapped?
Okay, so
we are currently cornered in by Ragers.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we're trying to escape on a spaceship and spend every night in a box filled with red light.
How are we more
trapped? I would say we can use that as a principal obstacle, right? So we could either use the Ragers to trap them, or there could be a trap laid for us by the people in the ring. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I guess where I immediately went to with this is like maybe this is the start of the story.
Yep.
Right? Like this is like them getting the map. They're surrounded by Ragers. Like maybe there's a scene in that of like being trapped.
Sure, like maybe their red box is finally compromised, and that's the start of our story.
They get locked in. They get locked into the crate.
They're like,
I am interested in like the idea of a trap being set for them.
That's interesting.
And because we need like more meat at the end, right? Like what's going to happen when they get there, and
maybe they get there and there's like a big, delicious meal waiting for them.
Birthday cake.
And it's all made out of leaves of this deadly drug they hate.
My favorite, a pile full of leaves with a big string coming out of it.
Don't mind if I diddly do. Okay, so in terms of setting a trap, it's difficult because we're in a circumstance where the people in the ring are kind of being treated like ants. Like they don't have autonomy. They're not being strategic. They're just doing the thing that they've been designed to
necessarily
do.
know these guys are coming.
One may even describe what they're doing as having party time. Like
having party time all the time, like ants do.
I mean,
so
they
jealous of ants.
describe it as party time all the time. From outside, it does not look like party time all the time. Okay, so does that mean we need to think about the the aliens laying a trap, 2, the Ragers laying a trap, or 3, alternatively, Bubba and Gumbo laying a trap?
I think maybe it is the aliens laying a trap on people.
I mean, that's the whole thing has been
The
a
The
trap.
whole thing
Story.
is that, right?
Yeah.
There's really traps within
Maybe
traps.
there's like
We have so many traps.
because there has to be like the reason I'm thinking that, right, is like some sort of additional twist that the aliens have prepared.
Okay.
Is that would be a good inciting point for the like, series of events that lead to Bubba and Gumbo messing up this whole shit. Like if they get involved in that,
There's some kind of like plot happening on the ring that Bubba and Gumbo use to their advantage to destroy this colossal structure.
or just sort of wander into
Yeah.
in some way, like
They Bubba and Gumbo their way through it.
they Bubba and Gumbo their way through it.
Okay, so instead of right, the aliens are not taking everyone away. Then
Yeah.
they're about to feed them into a big blender or something,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, the rich people aren't aliens anymore. They've just been told if you do this, like,
They believe it
Their
via
mind-
the
they
herb.
believe
Mind
that.
controlled, right?
Yeah. they're mind controlled to like, and also think that they're about to be taken off the planet, and that's why like this thing is spread and that sort of
They're
thing.
given
right?
like messianic visions and delusion, and they're told that they're part of something meaningful and important, and that this is going to protect and save the world ultimately, and that it's really important. But they are being trapped. They are going to be fed like conveyor style into a huge blender.
They're going to be
Right.
crushed into Soylent Herb.
Killing her, baby.
Okay, so I like why would Bubba and Gumbo accidentally change that? Right? How would they use that to their advantage? How would they walk into that? They know where they want to be. They want to get up the ring. And during that time, as they go up the ring, they find out or interact with the idea that it's all a trap, that it's humans aren't going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean they don't like they don't even need to sort of concretely know that, right?
Yeah, I
It
guess
just has
it's
to be
kind
a
of
thing
like
that
a-
they walk into and walk out of, and because of their presence there, it changes.
Okay, so I'm seeing it now more as like it's a part of the world building, right? So
Yeah.
when we're telling this story, as they navigate their way through the ring, they are oblivious to what's happening. But
Yeah.
we, the audience,
It's Mr. Bean stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know the stuff that other people around Mr. Bean are doing, but
Yeah.
is doing, but Mr. Bean still walks through it and breaks it all.
Yeah, their intention is never to save the people. Their intention,
get
right,
off.
is to just get the biggest ship.
So
that they
I
can,
say
right?
that they're like the only way they save everybody is just at the end. It is just they have a mission, and once it's done, it turns out that outcome actually saves the world. They effectively destroy the ring, break the mind control, destroy the facilities because all the facilities are in the ring, like destroy the facilities to grow the herb. Like all of that shit happens because of the thing they do at the end. I don't think they need to do several things throughout the story that are all linchpin moments that eventually undo this ring. I think they just need to fart out a bomb at the end accidentally.
Right. Okay.
Right? Because they're like, woohoo, we're out of here. And they fuck up that last critical process and every system in the ring fucking breaks. There you go. Well done, world. We're out of here.
They get in a ship
Yeah.
and they don't know how to drive the ship because it's an alien spaceship.
Yeah.
So they hit reverse instead of forward,
Yeah.
and they knock over an oil canister, which we see roll down like.
Oh, you want this to be like they are just like by like wings of a butterfly kind of thing.
Yes, I think that's the simplest way to do that. And the story up until that point is them getting there.
Yeah.
And I like that thing that you mentioned of there being like in the background this whole time, little bits and pieces of us figuring out like why them hitting this like oil canister that bounces down the road and like takes out a guy or like, hits another like pile of things and blows something up, why that thing is pivotal to the whole thing.
Okay, gotcha. So so you have been paying attention to the story's background.
Yeah.
And And that's a great thing because you will start on the outside of the ring. You won't know what it's for. You don't know who's built it. And we've got lots of things that we want to say. We want to say it was aliens because of a herb, like all of this stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to say that in the background. They're like running through a corridor and there's like posters on the back. And there's like, you know, they go through like a production facility or they go through this or they go through that. Like, I really like that idea that it's like told through the story, but they don't give a fuck. Like, they don't know about it. They don't care. They're in an alien fucking spaceship. They don't know what the fuck is going on. And they're just trying to get that one spaceship. And when they do, that stuff that you've paid attention to in the background, you know about the demon core. You know about the people, everyone's going to get killed as soon as this gets turned on. You learn that the world is going to get evaporated. You learn that. They don't. And just as they're about to leave, they back into like an oil drum that bounces down and hits a guy who falls off a balcony, who like hits another guy whose pistol goes off, who shoots the guy who's meant to be doing the thing. And then the demon core event happens. Yeah. And then it cuts back to them and they're like, easy pickings, you know?
And behind them, the whole thing is exploding.
Like, just
and they're
absolute anarchy.
Like light speed into like the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
And we join Bubba and Gumbo for fucking Sage Rage 2
weekly adventures.
As they finally get to take off their like colorproof goggles.
Yeah, totally.
That would be the end. They'd be like, "Hey, Bubba, how long until you think we could take them off?" It'd be like, looking at the dial.
I don't know, Gumbo. I kind of like mine.
Exactly. And then they're like, yeah, okay. Well, I really like this. I think that this is like a decent like series of events. I know the Rages have ended up being kind of like window dressing. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's more about the initial threat. They need to get out of their current situation. It's obviously crap. You don't want to be in The Walking Dead for 9 seasons.
And I think that's like, you know, there's so much stuff you can do with that of them. Like them at the space station bit is the like last act kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They get there, they're like, all right, we got to go get the ship. They go inside. It's probably where a lot of the like figuring out around what actually is going on happens, because they're like probably talking to people and like doing all that.
Yeah, and stuff. There's a lot of like, as they're sneaking through and as they're like quiet, they're talking about how they're going to evaporate the planet or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, I need to piss, you know, like that sort of thing.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the first bit is, you know, them on a bike through the
riding through the sage wastes,
doing zombie.
Yeah, I imagine, like we said, they start in the Red Room, they get up, they like for some reason their base is compromised. They're like, we've been planning this for too long. We're fucking doing it. There's a big one on there. I see there's a big spaceship today. We're fucking taking it. And the good old boys, they go for it. They fucking load up. They've got like clubs and like baseball bats and Mad Max shit. And they just hit it. And they're trying to get through it like fucking mad demons. They're not talking to people. They're probably just trying to hit and run or just run.
Riding. Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm trying to steal something like a spaceship, I'm probably going to be like mad dashing through, right?
Yeah,
like just trying to rip through the guts of it. Okay, cool. I'm endeared to Bubba and Gubbo. I think their quest is an honorable one. We do need to pick a scene for the plate up. What are you guys thinking?
I think the strongest scene in my mind is the intro. We can go into they're trapped. So the Ragers are around outside. We can get into a little bit of like what a Rager is. I really want to see their hideout. You know, like I think that would be kind of cool. I want to see them kick it on a motorbike. And
I like that idea. Like we set up this idea that they are surrounded at the moment, and they're like on their like last fucking can of corn or whatever, and they're like,
that's why they gotta get to fucking nuts.
Gumbo, I think it's today. Today is the day we go for the ship.
We said when we opened this Hormel's minced beef beans that we would finally fucking do it.
I think the bike is ready. It's them getting out of that, right?
I kind of also want there to be at least a little bit in our scene where they're like talking to each other comfortably. I feel like the rest of the story is like energy, go.
Yeah, I was going to
like,
say, I think what we've got is them starting in the Red Room, the threat being presented, and them escaping and deciding that this is the last day that we can ever do this. We need to make a play, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, with the plate up decided on, let us motor through to a lovely plate up.
Pretty on plate up, Gumbo.
Humming, ever humming, the red bulb above Bubba and Gumbo produces its scarlet light. Bubba and Gumbo sit in the modified freight container, weary from another day surviving, bathed in the sanguine hue emitting from the light above them. This was the only place they could remove their color proofs, the only time they could see the unfiltered world. They'd been careful, worked hard to avoid even the slightest beam of sage light to creep into their home, into their eyes. They knew the cost of seeing the sage light, of becoming a rager. Scarce supplies and tatty bedrolls make up the decor.
Gumbo, you ever think about what rich folk food they got nestled up in their ring?
No, Bubba. I don't think about what the rich people eat in their fancy brain. I don't think about what falls out of them afterwards, neither. Pass me some sketty.
No sketty, Gumbo. Ain't nothing but cream corn left.
Cream corn. Lord help me if I ain't gonna shoot the fella that done creamed all that darn corn.
Handled yourself well today, big brother.
Sure, mighty fine, yeah, managed not to get killed. Got 600 ml of water and a goddamn can of long, old, expired root beer. Nearly got eaten. Great day.
Well, personally, I like my root beer expired. That in-date stuff tastes too fizzy. I don't know.
Suddenly, the rattle of the chain-link fence outside interrupts their conversation. The pair move with well-drilled efficiency at the noise, clearing the table and assembling the weapons. Gumbo picks up a baseball bat, twirling it in his hand, turning to Bubba with a glint in his eye. Well, here we go again, little brother.
Bubba and Gumbo whip their hands to their foreheads and flip down the color proofs without thinking about it. The distinct noise from the fence outside rattling means that they're at the gates. The brothers shoulder their way out the door, filling the black room with light. Their heavy thuds of boots on a catwalk are intercut with furious, frothing mouths snarling and bashing at the fence outside, bent on tearing it down and getting in. They look so desperate, even though their emaciated bodies have barely anything left to give. Goes to show the determination of humans. Even when covered in cuts and bruised to hell, that rage can still carry you on. They all move like water in a bathtub, with one purpose and 24 limbs to achieve it. The few of them with teeth remaining try to chew through the fence.
Hey, Bubs, bad news. We done did ourselves got trapped in a hole.
You get Freebird started. I'll get the freaks off the roller.
Gumbo slides down a ladder, yanks the choke on their beloved motorcycle, and begins kicking the starter. Meanwhile, the grey, fleshy blob of rages hears the hootin' and hollerin' of Bubba as he leans away and smashes the window of a garage with his bat. One big swing collides with a jaw, and a splatter of tar-black blood covers the remaining open mouths, all intently gnashing upwards, their grey, bloodshot eyes lifeless. That gives enough space for Gumbo to roll open the door and get to the sidecar. With Freebird humming, Bubba drops the bat onto the catwalk, performs his signature maneuver of leaping down and straight onto the extra-wide leather seat, and kicks it, freeing them from the garage and out onto the open road.
Bubba revs the bike, tires squealing as they tear away from the Rager horde. Once they're a safe distance away, Gumbo leaps from the bike, unbuckling his helmet, throwing it to the ground. Bubba calmly parks and then turns to his brother. Well, suppose we should be getting back, see what damage they done, try and patch it up all and whatnot. In a fit of rage, Gumbo kicks his discarded helmet, sending it flying off into a roadside bush.
Consort it, Bubs. I cannot take it anymore. I cannot go back into that doggone room and eat another doggone can of doggone cream corn. I can't do it, Bubs. I can't.
Well, what we gonna do then? Gumbo collapses onto the ground in frustration before throwing himself backwards against the bike. Slowly, delicately, Bubba places his helmet on his seat and joins his brother, legs crossed. They sit there quietly together, gazing up into the night sky, listening to the crickets chirp around them. After a moment, Bubba begins to hum along, and Gumbo lets out a long sigh, the tension released from his shoulders.
I don't know, Bubs. If I had my druthers, we'd ride straight off this ding-dang rock, right into the sky and off into parts of the universe unknown.
Like what they do over at that space base in Fort Worth.
Now, what are you talking about, boy?
Oh, you know Twan, down in Texas. Wouldn't be but a couple days ride from here. Them NASA fellers used to use it for launching rockets out into that great black yonder. But it done been took over on account of this world-ending conspiracy we find ourselves embroiled in. Gumbo leaps to his feet, rummages in the bushes for his lost helmet, and snaps it back onto his head. Bubba watches all of this from his seat in the ground, a bemused look on his face.
Get up, Bubs. We gotta hit the road. I got an idea of brewing.
Yeah, southern stuff.
This is
Being a yokel.
well, you know, there's people in the South that aren't yokels too. Let's just put
For sure. This is a
but these
specific brand
is
of
two of them.
Southern.
this isn't south of anywhere in particular.
Yeah.
South of where? South of the ring. A rip-roaring, motor-riding, color-proof episode that we have here in the Hook Cook Kitchen. If you have a prompt that you'd like us to turn into an episode, something like Sage Rage, shoot that through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com or use @hook_cooks for the socials.
And if you like what you hear, jump up onto those socials, give us a like, a subscribe, a rating, whatever you do normally to sort of further the cause of podcasts.
Indeed. If
All
you
of that
could
stuff.
Please further the
Do
cause.
what you do for everyone else, do it for us.
In
Yeah,
fact,
that.
don't do it for them.
No,
Just do it for us.
Undo it for them.
Do it for them and do it for us. A perfect
I'm
call
good
to
at
action.
this. I should do this every
I
week.
think it should be you every week. Thank you to Holizna, who we thank for our opening theme, Sailing Away. And, of course, thank you to Jack's mum.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Jack's mom.
I've been Connor, your larder critter.
My name is Dishbot, and tonight I played the role of Jack.
It is I, the Saucy Spicerer, and I will go again. And you may see me in the future.
Are we happy, boys?
Yes, Jack.
They're like referring to things as yawn.
Yon,
John,
yon,
on windowsill.
yon windowsill.
In like a thick southern accent. It really tickles me. spot me some Ragers over at Yon Dollar Mart.
Yon Dollar
I was saying that just to myself so many times today.